Hello, hello everyone. I am only atheist, and I felt like doing this live because I want to, in case anyone pops by and asks me questions. But mainly, this is just going to be for my channel, and it's a lot easier for me to do this instead of upload and all that stuff. And it will be fun discussing issues live. Before I start this video, I just want to show you a couple of things that I do have. Boom, here we go, here we go. Shut this down. Alright, one sec. I'm sorry, should have been prepared. Whatever. Here we go. See this? That right there. That is my Facebook. Facebook.com/onlyatheist. Go and check it out. I post things about every single day. And then I also have a Twitter. I do have a Twitter. That right there. That is my Twitter page at, see, boom, at onlyatheist. So go follow me there too. That'd be very nice support. Also like, comment, subscribe if you enjoy this type of stuff. But I'm just going to move on and talk about some issues of today. I want to talk about Ferguson. Yes, Ferguson. Da-da. Where, if you don't know what's going on in Ferguson, then you've probably not been paying attention to the news very much. Basically simple. A black teenager was being arrested. The witnesses say he had his hands above his head, he was unarmed, and officers shot him multiple times. This thing caused protests and some violent confrontations with the police, and they are using tear gas and all this stuff with these peaceful protesters. But I'm not going to get into the details. What I want to talk about is the racial issues in the United States of America. I misspelled ramble. Oh man, that's a problem. Okay, but the racial issues. Where do I start? Where do I start? America has had a problem with racial issues, racial tensions, mainly with, like, us kidnapping people from the homes in Africa and forcing them here and do slave labor. And then we had the whole Civil War thing, and then we had the whole Civil Rights Movement thing, like, those minor things, minor, eh. And then there are people today that are ignorant of how racism's still in America. Racism's everywhere. And there are people that are ignorant enough to think that, race does not have to do a part with many things. Like this Ferguson issue, there are people that think, oh no, this racial issue, no, it's not. People saying, oh, they're trying to make this a race issue. They're not trying to make it a race issue. It is a race issue. It's a race issue between blacks and whites. In Ferguson, 93 or 97% of the cops are white, in like a town that's 60% black. Like 80% of like the traffic stops and stuff were black people. Kind of a little racism right there. Do I think if a white teenager would have been put in the same situation, hand above the air unarmed, would he get shot? Probably not. I think this officer may be in the wrong, but I'm not a judge or a jury. I'm not playing the jury or anything. I'm just giving my opinion. But I do believe this is a race issue. We're not trying to make it to be one, but there is definitely a problem with racial things within the United States, and this has opened the door for us to discuss it. And we need not let this opportunity pass by. This opportunity needs to be seized right now. It needs to happen right now. We need to discuss, and we need to figure out what the problems are and how we're going to try to fix them. Because there is a problem with race, and just ignoring it and being ignorant is not going to solve anything. Educating people making people have correct morals, maybe teaching people, hey, just because someone looks different does not mean they are different. They are just the same as you. They're human. Not judging people and having stereotypes cloud your judgment. Oh, he's a black teenager. Oh, he probably has a gun. Oh, better shoot him. Yeah, so this is a race issue. It's not, we're not trying to make it out to be one. It just happens to be a race issue where a white cop shot an unarmed black teenager who had his hands up above his head, according to witnesses. Kind of looks a little suspicious. I don't think it's a coincidence. Now people would be like, oh, you're trying to make it a race issue by saying it's a white cop and a black teenager. It's facts. It's a fact. A white cop shoots a white teenager. A white cop shoots a black teenager. Like a black cop shoots a white teenager. Facts. There are facts. And you cannot ignore facts. Speaking of ignoring facts, we're going to talk about climate change. I think that's a very big stretch right there. So I got a text. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, but the climate change exists. It exists. So I have to take this text to my brother. All right, so talking about climate change. Okay, yeah, okay, here we go. Climate change exists. It exists. No matter how much you want to deny it. Global warming, same thing as climate change. Global warming, I think, is a mislabelment of climate change because people assume, oh, it's global warming, it must be getting hotter. And that means that this Earth, like, oh, it was really cold this winter. So obviously that's not climate change. I'm like, what? That's a misinterpretation. Climate change basically means that the weather patterns are different and that we're messing up with everything, and that we've had the hottest 10 summers within the past 15 years, that the polar ice caps are melting, that sea levels are rising. They're facts. That is climate change. We have extreme, here in Michigan, I believe that we've had more rain than I've seen in a while. Like a lot of rain. Our winter was probably one of the worst winters I've ever been through. It was terrible. It's horrible. Just because it's extremely cold does not mean there's not climate change. That's a terrible. There's scientific evidence, and the majority of scientists have evidence supporting climate change, that it exists, and it's an issue that needs to be addressed. I think it's one of the most important issues that we need to address today as a human race, all around the world, not just here in the United States. Because this climate change and the environment, it is something that we need to sustain for our posterity, our grandchildren, great-grandchildren, great-great-grandchildren. We need to be able to make sure they have a place to live. Because the Earth, the only planet we have, and we're treating it like we have another place to go, even though we don't. It's something that needs to be addressed so that we can have a healthy, clean environment for future generations to live through. And I actually heard, I forget what it was, I think it was on Fox News, this is a while ago, but I was wondering enough, I forget what it was, but they were talking about climate change, and someone was like, well, I'm not sure if it's Fox News, don't quote me on that. It was some news station I was watching, it was a while ago, but they're like, oh, but the sea levels are rising slower. They're not rising as fast. Does that make any difference? That makes it sound better if you don't really think about it. If you don't think and you just hear the rising, oh, that's good. It means they're going to stop. Just because something is going slower does not mean it makes it better. If I have freaking cancer and I'm like, oh, the cancer is killing me slower, that's not necessarily good. It still means it's killing me, just not as fast. Just because the water levels in the ocean are rising slower than they have been does not mean they're not rising. They're still rising. Eventually, we're going to have to deal with that. And you know how much infrastructure we have near our coastlines that would have to be moved? That's going to cost millions and millions of dollars. This economic disaster that we've caused ourselves and that we're putting ourselves in, but we're still annoying, is not just going to affect this environment, it's going to affect the economy. It's going to require infrastructure. It's going to require money to rebuild stuff that gets destroyed, to move stuff. It's going to either relocate people. It's kind of bad all around. And it's probably one of the most important issues of our time that needs to be addressed. And we cannot have people saying, oh, I don't believe in it, and don't have much evidence supporting why they don't believe it globally. It exists. We just have to accept that fact. Climate change exists, and we need to address it and stop ignoring it. Yeah. It needs to be addressed. I'm trying to think. I think I'm just going to cover one more topic. Wow. Actually, you know what? I don't think I am. I think I'm going to stop right now. I'd like to thank you guys for watching me. I'm Only Atheist. Be sure, guys, to check out my Facebook page, facebook.com/Only Atheist. Follow me on Twitter @Only Atheist. Links and stuff will be in the description. Be sure to like this, comment this with any suggestions, any comments. Email me at onlyanatheist@gmail.com, and be sure to subscribe as well. That means a lot. So long. Till later. Ta-ta.